Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American brews and tunes. Shibbity-beeby-dow!
Shibbity-beep-boot-dow is right.
It sure is.
Yeah, it is. Anyways, welcome to episode number 83.
83?
83.
Or as some people would say, 83, I think.
Some people may say that, but we would say 83 of American Brews and Tunes.
Yes.
I know the last time we recorded was a little while ago.
It's been quite a while.
And I know that last episode was a one-off. We reviewed the Weaker Than's reunion tour. And we've just been a little lagging, a little slacking.
Little slackers over here.
As it goes.
You know, like that one movie, Slacker?
Yeah, or that band, Lagwagon.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But anyways, we decided that we wanted to get another episode out, so we're doing another one-off.
Yeah, of another fantastic album.
Yeah, we are reviewing for you all today the album The Greatest Generation by The Wonder Years. I was almost going to say The Wonder Thans because I had the Weaker Thans. The Wonder Thans or The Weaker Years.
Yeah.
I'm getting my W bands mixed up.
Maybe I'll do a collaboration. Wouldn't that be weird?
It'd be very weird. I did look at some of Pup's set lists from their tour,
Oh, yeah?
and they're playing A Plea from a Cat Named Virtute.
Are they really?
Yes. Maybe just a
Whoa.
Canadian tribute thing. I don't really know.
I hope they play that in Nashville.
I hope so, too. I'll be happy.
That'd be pretty sweet.
We'll see, though, because that's coming up next week, I think, right?
Yeah, next week.
Whenever that is, 20-something or other.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah.
One of those days, they'll be here in Nashville, and it's going to be great.
They'll be here, and we'll be here. Yes.
By the time this episode comes out, the show will already be over. So if you went, congratulations on the great time.
If you didn't go,
Too bad.
go to see them again somewhere else.
Don't be square. Get the tickets for Pup.
But according to Huey Lewis in the news, it's hip to be square.
Well,
It's hip to be square.
that's according to them.
Well, I believe them.
Is it hip to be any shape, though?
Everyone's a shape.
What does it mean to be a shape?
I don't know.
I was looking at, I saw something recently where they said, don't be square, be there. Or wait,
Be there or be square.
there or be square. Yeah, be there or be
Yeah.
square. And then they were like, because you wouldn't be around if you weren't there, so you'd be square.
I guess it's clever, but it's a little cringy.
I was like, interesting.
All right, Dad, who wrote that joke. Anyways,
For real,
before we delve into this so-called greatest generation, quote unquote, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
Album. People Dow. Let's go have a brew, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that.
We always like to have brews because that's part of the podcast.
Yeah. Who doesn't like to have,
And
well,
part
even
of
if,
life.
even if it wasn't part of the podcast, who doesn't just like to have brews?
People who don't like brews, I guess. I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
But there's a brew for everyone, unless you're, I don't know, unless you have
Unless
problems
you have-
with alcohol or
Unless
gluten.
if you have problems with gluten, and apparently all like the gluten-free beers taste terrible.
There's that one gluten-reduced beer from Stone that's not bad.
Yeah, but
But
it wouldn't make a difference if you
Yeah.
had celiacs or something like
Yeah.
that.
But anyways, today we are having a beer that is a collaboration brew between Harpoon, which is from Massachusetts, and another Massachusetts beverage company, Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh,
Even though I think they're just going by Dunkin' now, they kind of rebranded
they are,
themselves.
aren't they? Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
we want to seem healthier, so let's not put donuts in the title.
I guess, I don't know.
Even though they still have donuts everywhere.
Yeah, well, they also have delicious breakfast sandwiches.
They do, actually.
But yeah, this is the Dunkin' Donuts and Harpoon Summer, or I guess it's the Harpoon Dunkin' Summer Coffee Pale Ale.
Yes.
They had collaborated previously in which it was a coffee porter, which that makes sense. With the porters, you already have a roasted flavor that lends itself well to almost being coffee-like. So when you add coffee to a pale ale, that's a little different.
We've had a few other like IPAs or pale ales that have been coffee.
Stone had the coffee IPA.
That one
Rogue
was
had the
delicious.
cold press
Cold
coffee.
press was also very good.
We also had the depth charged arrogant bastard, which was like espresso.
Yeah, that one was really good.
Yeah, so
it was very interesting. Though.
It can work. I'm curious
It
to see if
definitely
it works
can
in
work.
this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking for like a nice not overpoweringly bitter coffee flavor, along with the nice kind of
Hoppy
weediness,
bitterness.
hop bitterness. Yeah, of
So
a pale ale.
let's see if they go together. This clocks in at 5% ABV, and it has a IBU level of 44.
44. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So let's
Crack it open.
crack these. We both have cans today, so not a problem there at all.
All right, I just smelled it. It smells very good.
What does it smell like?
Like a beer.
Well, all of your descriptions are very on point. You said
It
it smells
has-
very good. It smells like a beer.
It has a really nice. The coffee smell really hits the nose whenever you sniff it.
I haven't smelled mine yet, but I'm looking at it in the glass, and it doesn't look at all like coffee.
It's a really nice color, though.
Yeah, it's kind of like a dull,
It's like an amber.
bright orange.
Yeah.
Dull bright.
Dull bright.
Like there's a dullness to it, but also it's like brighter than some beers. So I'm having a hard time picking out what you call that.
It just kind of looks like a darker hay color.
Yeah, I'd say so. It looks really nice.
A dull, bright hay color.
It's not crystal clear, maybe slightly hazy, but I wouldn't call it a hazy beer.
No, you're definitely getting the classic pale ale notes
ale.
on the nose.
I do get a little bit of a malty nose also, but with that hoppy presence, and I can smell the coffee.
You definitely can smell the coffee. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't smell like I'm stuffing my nose into a bag of coffee grounds,
No.
but it's definitely there
Now-
in a nice way.
Do you think that they used Dunkin' Donuts coffee, or did they just label it as Dunkin'? Like, did they just partner with Dunkin'?
I am almost positive they used Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
Okay.
If they didn't, then that's really a lost cause.
Shame on them.
Yeah.
If they
Shame
didn't.
on you. Yep.
Shame on you.
on me. Anyways, let's say that we
Give it a try ski.
give these a try ski. As we always say on American Brews and Tunes, and if you want to join us at home, down the coffee hatch. I think it's coffee up front.
It really is. Yeah.
And
Same-
kind of the coffee's on the coffee's throughout. Actually, it's not just it hits you up front, and it's there for the whole ride.
It's almost as if. Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Like, well, when I tasted the coffee up front, I tasted it so like present that I was like, oh, this will probably disappear, and then I'll taste the hops.
Yeah.
But the coffee was
The
kind of there
coffee
the
is
whole
present
time.
throughout. Yeah,
which
almost
is
like
interesting.
the cream is present all the way throughout a cannoli.
It isn't though.
Really? Is it just
Yeah.
in the ends?
Yeah, they'll
Oh,
fill it on
crap.
both ends. A really good cannoli will have the cream meat in the middle.
Yeah. Okay. So a really good cannoli,
Um,
just like that.
but a lot of times, the middle will be a little empty.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Just like a Laffy
Twinkie.
Taffy joke goes through my soul and is hilarious.
I was gonna say, where's this going?
Like a Twinkie.
It just fills you.
It just the Laffy Taffy jokes fill me with joy.
Just
and
like
keep me going throughout the day.
Taco Bell. This
Fills you up.
fills
and
me
then-
up with disaster.
and
and
then
keeps
fills you
coming
up-
disastrous through one end out the other.
fills you up with remorse right after
Oh,
and
yeah.
regret. You go through the 5 stages of grieving.
Garbage in, garbage out.
How many stages of grieving are there?
I don't know,
7?
12.
13?
I think it's 12. I don't know, though.
Anyway, you go through all those steps whenever you have Taco Bell.
But suffice to say, with all these examples, the coffee is present in the beer.
Yeah, it definitely is.
What's your thoughts on
it's
the
pretty good.
hops, the hop profile for the pale ale? It's not an IPA, so it's not going to be as aggressively bitter.
Yeah, I kind of wish it were an IPA.
Do you? Do you want
Yeah.
more hops?
I do. The only reason I say that is because tasting this is just reminding me of the cold press. Which one was that in New Belgium?
I think
Or
that
not
was,
New Belgium.
It was Rogue.
Rogue, yeah.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of that one, and like how with that one, because like, since the coffee flavor is fairly strong, or kind of like an aggressive flavor on your palate, it would be really nice to have those more bitter hops to really punch through that flavor. So it's not just a Laffy Taffy going through your soul. There's like multiple flavors of Laffy Taffy going through your soul.
Except for the banana flavor.
Yeah, except for that one. That was the worst flavor. I still like it though. Like it's not bad.
It's better than the banana flavor of Runts. If you've ever had that candy.
Oh, I was talking about the beer. I hate the Laffy Taffy banana flavor.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's the worst. I hate it
Yeah,
so
that's
much.
why you said it's still not bad, and I was like, oh,
Yeah, I was talking about
thought
the
we
beer.
just agreed that it was bad.
And then you were like, it's not as bad as banana runs.
I was trying to think of what's as bad as the coffee or the banana flavor of Laffy Taffy, and the
Yeah.
Runts. That banana flavor is way worse.
I haven't had runts in a long time.
Me neither, but I guarantee you the banana flavor is worse than those ones.
Wait, runts.
They're little they're shaped
Fruit
like
shape?
the fruits, and they're hard candies.
Oh, I was thinking of Nerds for the longest time.
Oh no, Runts.
Nerds are good. I like runs.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like the banana one.
Anyways, as we always do in American Brews and Tunes, as the beer warms up, if the flavor profile opens up or changes, in our opinions, we'll let you know. Otherwise, let's delve into the music.
We shall.
The Wonder Years, The Greatest Generation, from 2013.
2013.
This is the fourth album from the Wonder Years. They are a Philadelphian pop punk band.
Yes.
Fairly influential on this second wave of pop punk. Like I'd say the Blink-182, the early 2000s. That was that first wave of pop punk. And then that kind of fizzled out. And this is the resurgence with the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
Real Friends, those kind of bands that popped up.
Yeah, it's not exactly the same type of pop punk. This is more heavier, faster, more
Some people call it sad boy punk.
sad boy pop punk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I
that
can see that,
fits into it.
emo pop punk
Yes.
in a way. I could see that.
I'd say the Wonder Years are the forerunners and probably my favorite out of that wave
Yeah.
of bands from that subgenre or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, like I said, this is their fourth album, and it is the third installment of a self-described trilogy of records focusing on growing up. So
Okay.
that's kind
That
of what
makes
they
sense.
said. They've had two albums previously that kind of focused on similar things, all touching on them from different angles or aspects, but all kind of relating to growing up in one facet or another.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a conscious thing that they're writing on that. And this album,
it's a good subject to write on.
it is. Everyone grows up.
I mean,
Yeah.
everyone goes through those same things. I mean, I guess this is growing up.
And growing up,
So.
everyone grows up constantly, so that can mean something different depending on what age you're at.
Yeah, true.
This album definitely tackles growing up. It reflects on the past, and it definitely examines loneliness, anxiety, depression, etc. on a very, very personal level.
100%. Yeah.
Fairly autobiographical. Dan Campbell, their songwriter and frontman, is very open and personal in his lyrics. A lot of times he'll reference friends by first names, almost like he's telling, it's almost like it's a mutual friend between him and the listener. It's oh, I was talking to Jake and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Or me and Ken were at a diner, and you're saying all these things, I don't know who these people are, but
Yeah.
clearly he's talking about these specific moments and specific friends. So it's very autobiographical for the most part. The title is a reference to a generation, a literal generation in America, the people who were around during World War II.
Yes. The greatest generation. Yeah.
Yes, so they are commonly referred to as the greatest generation. But I think my generation's the greatest generation. Just like The Who, talking about my generation.
I forgot about that song.
It's a great song, isn't it?
My generation.
People try to put us down. Great bass solo
Talking
in that.
about my generation.
But anyways, the greatest generation, kind of that era, gives leeway to some imagery and references that'll pop up throughout this album.
Yeah. And
Either directly or in some of the words he uses or
yeah,
chooses to describe.
throughout this album, it almost seems like he switches storytellers almost.
You think?
Kind of, in a way.
It could be.
He switches from that era to the 90s and the current era.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, definitely.
different perspectives from those times.
I can see that. There is a deep literary conception throughout the album. It's consciously made by Dan Campbell. Similar to their previous album, Suburbia, I've Given You All and Now I'm Nothing, which that album focused on a poem called America by the poet Allen Ginsberg. And it that popped up throughout the entire record. If you were to read that poem and then listen to that record, wow, he really did that on purpose, but in a good way. So
Really?
he definitely makes these literary choices throughout the record to tie it together. And so that kind of starts my following of this record and when I want to interpret the lyrics.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of looking for connections, and sometimes I may be stretching what they actually mean or not.
Okay.
But I found myself making connections all over the place. Whether they were intentional or not, it's hard to say for sure without actually asking Dan Campbell. But I bet you there's more than one that I probably made connections that were supposed to be that way.
Okay.
Otherwise, maybe I'm guessing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you were to listen to this record, read all the lyrics, I'm sure you could find them.
Mm-hmm.
My history with this record, this is the first album I listened to by the Wonder Years.
I think it was the first one that I listened to as well.
Yeah, I think it was for you too, but it was because my buddy Matt Reynolds, shout out Matt Reynolds.
Matt Reynolds.
He sent me a message once when they released their song "The Devil in My Bloodstream," and he told me to listen to it, and he gave me the background information on what that song meant. I was like, oh, this song's pretty cool, and then I was a fan of the Wonder Years after that. They've been releasing good music consistently. And I don't know. This is probably my favorite of their records, but they've got a ton of good ones. This is one of their, all of their records are actually rated really high universally, like with critics, with consumers, whoever. But this one for sure was universally acclaimed by everyone.
Yeah.
So shall we dive in?
We shall.
All right. The first song is called "There, There."
There, there. I really like this song.
I do
it's
too.
It's a fantastic album opener.
It starts off really soft.
Yeah.
And I think that it is soft because of the first couple lines. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like apologizing for being awkward and different.
To read.
Yeah, and he's explaining to this person like why he's apologizing. And I'd imagine he'd be timid and soft in his explanation. Yeah. And that's the way that the song starts.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I would like say is that he's expressing the apology through the soft music at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
This whole thing kind of crescendos up and kind of turns into, I don't want to say a rager, but it definitely gets a lot bigger.
I would say it turns more like anthemic almost.
Yes, anthemic's a better word.
Not really raging.
Yeah, but I think it's super duper catchy.
It really is, yeah. It just starts off whenever he says, what does he say? He says, I'm sorry I don't laugh at the right times.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't laugh at the right times.
Sorry I don't laugh at the right Yeah. Like throughout this whole album they have a lot of really catchy little guitar riffs like that.
Yes. This is a band that I think really utilizes all of their guitar players.
Yeah, because they have a really big band.
They have 3 guitar players.
Yeah.
And if you listen like to a good stereo recording of their songs, you can hear all 3 guitars playing. Maybe 2 of them will be doing rhythm parts, but they'll both be doing something different so that they kind of complement each other, and then someone's doing a lead line. And so where most bands would have to layer these things, they've got the people to do it all so they can perform it live almost exactly how it was in the record.
And on that note, they have a really killer live show.
Yes, they do. Very, very high energy, very tight live.
Yep.
Before we move on, I just wanted to mention that they did do an acoustic album, and they re-recorded There, and they're in the bridge. It has some like 3 or 4 part harmonies
on the guitar, right?
No, on the vocals.
On the vocals.
Yeah, I've got my heart hung up on clothing lines, and it's a moment.
That's a moment for you.
On the acoustic record, not on this one. I mean, but it's very good on this record. But check out the acoustic one if you haven't. Let's move on to track number 2, which is my first recommendation.
Okay.
This song is called "Passing Through a Screen Door." Yeah. Oh! Screen doors are really summery. Like
summery. Yeah.
You know, did you guys have screen doors on your house?
Yeah.
We did too. And
I ran into it frequently on the deck. I wouldn't realize the screen door was there, and then I would run into it.
I feel like most people would run into glass doors, but screen doors work too, I guess.
You know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just get really excited to go outside, like a dog does.
When it's summertime, you just got to go.
Did you ever have those screen doors where you had to, like, if the screen came out, you had like this piece of like rubbery, like this thin piece of rubber that you could put the screen back in, and you had to push this rubber back into it?
I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, that's what I remember from screen doors.
That doesn't sound familiar to me.
Okay.
I just remember they were nice in the summer.
Yeah.
Anyways, this song really kicks up the energy from the previous song.
It does.
It gets you all pop punked out. And even though it really intensifies the energy, it continues the themes of anxiety and self-doubt.
Yeah.
This song is about, I'm
This is a great
assuming
song.
Dan being like purposefully looking for things to go wrong so that he can run away. Like he talks about, he was like born to be an escape artist's son.
Yeah.
He's got a flashlight in the train times stuck in the corner of his bedstand or whatever,
Yeah.
so that he can always leave. And that reminds me of a Frank Turner song, "The Road." Do you remember that one where he talks about having a bag packed
by
the door?
By the door all the time, yeah.
Passport always tucked in there. So that's kind of what that is. And I really like in the bridge when he talks about like he's pondering if he's like screwed up in his life because all of his friends are having kids and having wives, and he's like, did I mess up? And
in one of the lines he mentions being 26, and I remember being 26, listening to this song and being like, man, I know exactly how you feel.
I was in the same spot too. It's weird.
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Young Jesse.
2 years is so long.
It doesn't feel that long ago, though.
It really doesn't. Time's weird. Time flies.
Time is weird.
Yeah. But anyways, this song is super catchy.
Mm-hmm.
This one, I'd say the chorus is a rager.
Yeah.
It's bouncy. It's super good live. You can jump around, have a good time. There's a good Greatest Generation reference when he talks about those kids during the
in the 60s.
Yeah, during the Cold War, looking up at the sky, waiting for the bomb to drop.
Yeah.
And so that's just you waiting. Like, I guess in his perspective, he's always waiting for something to go wrong or something to happen to end everything.
Yeah.
I always think those bomb videos. Do you ever see the bomb videos, the duck and cover videos?
Yeah, those are all just
black
ridiculous.
and white ones. Where if you see an atomic bomb going off, duck under your desk.
Get under your desk. It's the safest place you can be.
As if the radiation isn't going to give you cancer anyways. Either you're going
to see here. Yeah. Once the atomic bomb goes off, you just gotta go under your desk, Charlie, and you'll be fine.
You'll either get like pulverized and disintegrate, or you'll get cancer.
Have you ever listened to like a podcast about the atomic bombs?
It's really ghastly.
It's crazy.
And had lasting effects. Yeah, there's a lot of residual fallout, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. There's a great podcast called Hardcore History with Dan Carlin. And he talks about
they go real in depth.
He talks about Hiroshima, yeah. And it's intense.
Very
graphic.
I'll tell you who can withstand the blast. Wolverine.
Could he though?
Yeah, he did in the movie The Wolverine.
Oh, well, so did Indiana Jones. Wait, was that an atomic bomb or was that just a bomb?
I don't know.
Remember when he was like, I know, I'll go in the fridge.
I think it was an atomic bomb because the lead-lined refrigerator protected him from radiation.
Ah, yes.
Wasn't
destroyed
move.
in the explosion at all. Anyway.
And he went, he should have been dead, but that's for another podcast.
Yeah, some other movie podcast that talks about movie flaws.
For some reason, Indiana Jones didn't die like that. But let's move on to track number 3, which is called "We Could Die Like This."
Well,
this isn't too far off from the energy of the last track, but I wouldn't say it's as fast. And this song is about, and then there's a quote from The Wonder Years: "Blue collar, hard working, caustic culture." So he's kind of talking about that, like that Philly mentality and these things going on there.
Yeah.
Like this is the one where he talks about the Philadelphia Eagles and their one player, what's his name? Joe Brown, River.
Jerome
Brown.
Yeah.
He died in a car crash, I believe. And
really?
it was kind of affected the city because he was a good player and then all of a sudden was gone. And how that was like an important thing to the blue collar, hardworking class.
Yeah.
I really liked some of the imagery in the song, like in the first chorus when he talks about the memory of the smells, like the true blue.
True blue, yeah.
Cigarettes.
The only brand his grandma smokes.
And like the smell of that mixed with copper tone, like the sunscreen.
Yeah.
So like that invokes the memory of looking at shorebirds. So it's just like he really does a good way of explaining that one snapshot in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He's very good at that. Kind of like how John K. Sampson can take words and describe things.
Yeah, I can like use words and like elevate a feeling that's very hard to describe.
Yeah. I think that how John K. Sampson can do that about a feeling, Dan Campbell can do that about like a snapshot of it or an image.
Yeah.
Like a photograph. Let's move on to track number 4, shall we?
We shall.
This song is called Dismantling Summer. It is my second recommendation.
This one starts off with that weird line.
I'm pulling wings off insects.
It's like, okay.
Peeling back my sunburnt skin. This is one of the singles that they released prior to the album coming out. And it is about his grandfather who had a triple bypass surgery and survived.
Wow.
So Dan Campbell postponed some tours and kind of moved his schedule around so he could be with family during that. And this is what he wrote about, is that time in his life.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like
With
every
a lot
time
of lines.
I didn't know this was specifically about his grandfather or for that reason. I figured it was either about a family or like a family friend, because he talked about growing up on their back porch
Yeah.
and wanting to go to the hospital. Just crazy.
Yeah, and then
the
this is
descriptors
dealing with the kind of struggling through that
from
that
an
time.
emotional standpoint of like being the
Saying,
family.
if you're in a hospital bed and I'm on a plane or whatever, what kind of man does that make me? Like,
Yeah,
like
that's one of like the last lines in the bridge, and that's probably the most profound line from this song.
yeah.
And it unknowingly points towards, I think it's the first track on their most recent album called Sister Cities. And that song is called Raining in Kyoto.
Yep.
And it's about him being in Japan when he got the news that his grandfather passed.
Oh, really?
He was on tour in Japan. And so it's
Wow.
almost like foreshadowing. But it actually happened, which is kind
That's
of
crazy.
sad. But it's interesting. So he wrote about that in a different song, which is also worth checking out if you haven't. But in this song, his grandfather had that surgery, and he's just singing about kind of being emotionally distraught. My favorite part in this song is when he's talking about filling his grandfather's prescriptions, and the orange bottles are staring at attention. They're lined up on the windowsill like a little army.
Yeah.
Just a good way to describe it, because obviously his grandfather's on a lot of medication.
Yep.
Really good song. It's super, like, even aside from all the thematic elements, it's super catchy. The chorus is a banger. It's a real anthem. As the youth would say, it really slaps.
No, Steve. They wouldn't say that. They would say that chorus is fire.
I don't know. Is that the thing anymore? It's lit?
Oh, dude, fire is the new thing.
I don't know. I
Trust
feel like
me.
slaps is the new thing. It slaps.
I hear fire so many times,
I don't know.
all the time.
I don't know what the youth say.
Confirm for me, youth of the world.
I don't think any youth listen to this. We're too old. Anyways, that's a great song. One of my favorites from this record.
Yeah.
I love it.
There's really only one song that I'm not a fan of on this song. I mean, on this album.
I think there's probably two for me, but I think there's one in particular, and I bet you it's the same one.
I wonder if it is. We'll see.
One that's a bit of an outlier?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're probably talking about the same one.
Production-wise?
Production-wise, sound-wise, theme-wise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talking about the same one then.
All right, moving on to track number 5, which is called
Oh,
The
yeah.
Bastards, The Vultures, The Wolves.
Oh, yeah.
I wish there was an "and" in there. Just my personal grievance. I wish it was The Bastards, The
There
Vultures,
needs to be
and The
a-
Wolves. But it's not. This is a punk rock song.
Yes, it
It's
is.
fast. Thank
awesome.
goodness. It's very nice. Like, it's got that like that real fast, and it starts off with
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kind of like a
Like really
a
slow.
drone, and this guitar that's just plucked real
Bring.
softly.
Ding,
Bring.
ding.
And then it kicks in big time, real fast, real heavy.
I'm angry like I'm 18 again.
Yeah, and it's ragey and angsty sounding. Like, this song's a thing about things going wrong and fighting through it, kind of, and causing some damage. A little later on in the song, he references an older Wonder Years song, and he does this throughout the album where he references previous songs.
Really?
But on this one in particular, he references the first song from their previous album, which was called Suburbia, I've Given You All and I'm Nothing.
Okay.
And that song is called Came Out Swinging.
Oh, yeah. He
Um,
says, and yes, I came out swinging.
Yeah. But I'm still leaving with 2 black eyes and a split lip.
Yeah.
So I think that's like a good indicator of this song where he's still fighting and still getting banged up and still struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a great song, though. Ah.
It really is. It's a good one to get you going if you want to get going. But let's tone it down a little bit with the next song, shall we?
All right.
Track number 6, which is my honorable mention, is called The Devil in My Bloodstream. And this is more of a ballad feel
A little bit, yeah.
than like the classic punk or punk rock.
Yep.
And it starts off on a piano, so it's real different. This song's about his great-grandfather who passed away. And Dan Campbell sent out a tweet talking about his great-grandfather that he didn't really know too much. But he had got a hand on his great-grandfather's memoirs, and he was kind of leafing through them, reading about his experiences in war and his depression. And he sings about it in this song, how he can relate to depression, but if he ever was like to go to war, he would be too much of a coward.
He would make it, yeah.
And in this song, when he goes to that line where he's talking about how he'd be a coward, that's when this song hits the climax and explodes.
Yeah.
And it just gets so loud and so big.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's really catchy, really awesome sounding. Laura Stevenson does the harmonies on this song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, listen to it again. You can definitely pick it out.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, there was a girl singer in one of the songs, and I couldn't quite place who it was. I was like, huh, who is that?
You remember?
I forgot that they were buddies.
Yes.
I forgot about
and
that.
On the acoustic album, she did harmonies on There.
Yeah.
And do you remember when we saw the acoustic show?
Yeah.
She came out and sang some harmonies with them, plus her band opened up. That was great.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah. In this song, though, I like the visuals that he gives on the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, talking about how we wiped out all the buffalo and all that's left is love and industry.
Yeah.
And like in the heart of Missouri.
Missouri. Heart of Missouri.
Yeah, but it's just a really good song. If you're an emotional person, it'll cut you to the core.
Cuts you to the quick.
But this next song can also be emotional. It's my last recommendation. It's called Teenage Parents.
It's a good one.
Another autobiographical song about growing up with teenage parents and being poor.
Yes.
Again, his imagery and his words put you in his shoes and kind of experience what he sees and what he feels. Like he talks about his parents coming home and having double shifts and maybe just being able to catch each other as the other leaves.
And like his clothes smelling like smoke because he has to...
They had to have
heat the house
with kerosene during the winter of 93.
Yeah.
Because they were in Philly, so they got hit with the storms that came up the coast. Mm-hmm. Like the nor'easters or whatever you would call those weird storms. But it's just very good imagery he uses in here. In the bridge when he talks about the wedding and his mom wearing a summer dress when she got married.
Yeah.
Like if you're wearing a summer dress, it's because maybe you can't afford a wedding dress.
Yeah.
Like, and they had their wedding in the backyard, someone's house in Philly. But I think... And this is just my opinion. I think this is the catchiest song on the record. That chorus. All we had were hand-me-downs. All we had was goodwill. So, I mean, literally it could be a goodwill store, maybe the goodwill of others giving them things.
Yeah.
And you always said it would get better. That's the recurring thing. Is you always said it would get better. So I'm assuming that's his mom or his dad. But probably his mom saying that. But I love this song a lot.
Just a fantastic song. Both in theme and in, like you said, the chorus being incredibly catchy.
Yeah, and it's a faster one too, so it's great. So I think this is a real good punch song, and so you follow it up with a chaser, per se. This next song, track number 8, is called Chaser. So he could be talking about a literal chaser, like a follow to a shot.
Or someone who chases someone.
Or someone who chases someone, which I think is more likely the case.
Yeah.
Based on the lyrics. But he sings about smoke in this song, and I always think, could this be a reference to the smoke in the previous song? But I'm not entirely sure that it is or
you
not.
mean the cigarette smoke?
It could either be the cigarette smoke or their smoky clothes from the kerosene in the previous song. Either way, but I think it's
or
just
it could
maybe
be a reference to Brian Fallon's song "Smoke," even though this came up before.
I don't think it's a reference to that. But it's a good one. It's got a real catchy chorus. I'm a chaser. But I found stronger winds. But that's all I have to say about that. Let's move on to track number 9, where we pick up the pace again. The song's called An American Religion, parentheses FSF, which stands for F School Forever.
Really?
Apparently that's an inside joke with the band, or so I read on Lyric Genius, which is pretty funny.
FSF.
The song's about kind of getting some like fame or notoriety and how it affects you and how it affects others' perception of you.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like the chorus is, they're all paying for bullets to shoot at my feet. Does that make you happy?
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're trying to make him dance or if they're trying to make him leave. I don't know.
Probably the dance one.
Could be. Who knows? But
I would assume that would mess with you.
Yeah, definitely.
Like mentally, it'd just be weird.
I mean, it affects a lot of people. Look at Kurt Cobain, R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
But he also talks about like how he is going to be remembered now that he's kind of a public figure. He references Truman, another Greatest Generation reference.
Yep.
I'm saying how he's only remembered for the
bomb
drop, like dropping the bomb, and he wonders if he's only going to be remembered for his screw ups, pretty much.
Yeah.
But really good song, really fast, and it's a jam. Kind of just like the Vulture song. It's another punk rock song. Really good, really fast paced. The next
Always
song
happy
is
when
not
those-
as fast-paced.
Always happy when those punk rock songs show up.
Oh, me too. Anytime. But this song, track number 10, is called A Rain Dance in Traffic. I wouldn't say it's a slow song, but it's definitely slower. This song's about being weathered and feeling weak. Like in the chorus, he says, the fighter in me must have died a long time ago. And then he kind of references The Greatest Generation again, or slightly before them, when he
Like
says,
Great Depression.
it feels like 1929 and I'm on the verge of a great collapse today.
Yeah.
So he talks about that. Definitely a lot of fighter and boxing references.
Yeah.
And kind of being beat down and just trying to put on a face, I guess.
Yeah, and it's there are a couple other really good lines in here. One of them is every window in this house faces a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, obviously windows are supposed to let you see out into the world and are kind of have a more optimistic feel. Yeah. But if they just lead to a brick wall, then it's not very optimistic. And then he also says...
That visual is almost like if you were in a major city in an apartment. If you can imagine two buildings so close together that when you look out your window, you're looking at the bricks of another building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he also says, I'm panicked and absent like a bird in a cage.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you've ever had birds, did you ever have birds as a kid?
I did not.
If any of you out there have had birds as a kid, you definitely know what he's talking about. We had birds, and like they would just be like tweeting all the time, just being like,
tweet, tweet,
just like flying around in their cage, like
let me go.
Seeming like they're kind of agitated.
Let's move on to an outlier, shall we?
Yeah. Is this the song you're talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, is this one that I'm not really fond of?
The song's called Madeline. It's acoustic and vocals the whole way through, and it sounds like it was recorded with one microphone in a living room almost. I think that's definitely the aesthetic he was going for.
Yeah.
It's about him singing to this girl named Madeline, and they kind of have some similar views, and they don't necessarily meld with their families or with other people they grew up with in their views.
Yeah.
So they're kind of commiserating that way.
Yeah.
I just don't think it really fits in with the rest of the album.
Yeah, maybe if they would have had it be like a bonus track.
I think it's a good bonus track. I don't think it's a good inclusion on the album.
Yeah, I agree. But it almost kind of like breaks it up weirdly.
It is.
Like you go from the whole album being produced a certain way, and then all of a sudden you're just like.
And I'm all for sonic changes, but this one just doesn't work for me.
If it happened more than once in the album, then it would make more sense.
Yeah, but I mean, it's their album; they can do what they want.
Yeah,
yeah.
Not my favorite.
It's not my favorite either.
The song, and I think I like the song apart from the album. If the song was apart from the album, I think I would like it.
Like if it was a bonus track.
Yeah. But
we're on a different album.
Yeah,
but
who knows?
That's enough. Moving on to track number 11. The song's called Cul-de-sac.
Cul-de-sac.
And a cul-de-sac is a dead end in a suburb, and this song's about a dead end of a relationship.
Or is it a clever way to turn around?
It's about a dead end.
Okay.
The ending, I'd say. This song is about, quote unquote, breaking up, if you can use that word, with a childhood friend who's become kind of toxic. And you find out a little bit later in the song it's because his friends kind of got tangled up in drug use.
Oh.
And so that relationship's kind of going down the drain.
Yeah, it sounds like someone from my past.
It happens.
Yeah, it does.
It's kind of sad in the chorus. Like the line that I always kind of get bummed out is when he says, "I thought my kids would call you uncle." So like,
like
not
a really close
not a
friend.
literal uncle, but like
it was like a really
yeah. When you have a good friend, and you have a kid, your kids would call your best friend uncle.
Yeah.
But not happening here. Aside from all that heavy stuff, the song isn't really like a punk song, but I'd say it's a faster one. Super catchy.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm letting go. I'm not that this will call me uncle, because I kiss will call you uncle. It's a super catchy song. I really like it a lot. Shall we move on to the last song?
Let's.
The last song is my second honorable mention.
Yeah, this song is a feat.
It is a feat. It's called "I Just Want to Sell at My Funeral." It's over 7 minutes long.
7.5.
And it's polluted with lyrics, but in a good way.
In a very good way.
This is also in reference to his great-grandfather that he didn't know too well. When he tweeted out about reading his great-grandfather's memoirs, he had mentioned that his grandfather had sold out his funeral, must have been a great man. Like he said something along those lines. And so that, I'm assuming, prompted him to want to write this song. Like, maybe it was The Greatest Generation that were able to have this effect on their peers. Maybe we don't have that. Maybe I don't have that that quality. And so he's just kind of like questioning that. He wants to, and I'm going to say this sentence and kind of paraphrase some of the things that he says in this song. Like he wants to live up to that standard that his grandfather set. He wants to do what he can. He wants to be great, and he wants to be enough for everyone.
Yeah.
Which is difficult to do.
Very much so. Almost like an impossible task, it seems.
It is. It is. And I think he kind of touches upon that.
If not impossible, very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And takes a lot of effort and it's time consuming.
In the end of the song, he kind of says, we all want to be great. I don't remember the lyric off the top of my head, but he says, we all want to be great, but it isn't a romantic idea, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if you can see the lyric in front of you.
I'm looking
It's one of the last lyrics on that song where he says, and we all just want to be great, blah, 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 blah. We just want to be great.
Is it after or before the?
It's like one of the last
of all the songs.
One of the last lines in that song.
We all want to be great men, and there's nothing romantic about it. I just want to know that I did all I could with what I was given.
And I think that's a great closing line to the album.
Yeah, I think so too, especially.
But before that.
Oh, okay, we'll come back to that last line.
But before that, the whole second half of the song, they bring back musical motifs and ideas
and lyrics
everything from about 9 other songs on this record.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And I think
they go in order, don't they?
No, they don't.
They don't. Okay.
They don't.
I know they start off with "Sorry, I don't laugh at the right time." They start off with that one anyway.
I think so, but. What I think is, they bring back some of the more profound lyrics from some of the other songs and kind of tie them into this idea of what's, like, he kind of puts them all together to kind of give you an idea of his, like, stream of consciousness or what he's kind of, like, thinking and feeling. And that kind of ties all of these songs together in one song, one kind of clump.
Yeah, and I think...
And that brings you to the last line.
Yeah, I think the last line definitely ties it on. I just want to do the best with what I have.
Yeah.
I just want to know that I did all I could with what I was given.
Yeah. And just making this song is very ambitious, and making it work is
better.
Difficult.
All the better.
Yeah. They're really good with their closing tracks. At least this album and the album before. Yeah. Both of them are fantastic. But this one's just something else. I saw them do this one live once.
Really?
Crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they did it really good.
But anyway, I wanted to say one more thing about that last line.
Yeah.
That last line, I think, really captures an emotion that a lot of people, I think, have.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Like, everybody...
I think it's a good mission statement to like, live your life by. Kind of just have that in the back of your mind.
It's like we couldn't control, who we were, like we were born.
Yeah.
I couldn't control what family you're born into or,
But you can do the best with what you've been given.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just a great uplifting statement to have. Like, even through with all of the other pain and whatever else that he talked about in the album, he wants to at least know that. Yeah. That he can do the best with what he was given. Yeah. So, fantastic album.
Yeah, all in all, it's a great record. I hadn't listened to it for a little while, but once we knew we were going to review this and I started spinning again, I forgot how much I liked it.
Yeah, I forgot how good it was.
Yeah, it's so good. I'm going to go back and listen to more of their discography again in a couple
I
really
really
weeks.
should. The one that I listened to the most was the one with that blue one. What's it called?
No Closer to Heaven.
Yeah, No Closer to Heaven.
That's a good one, too.
I listened to that one a lot.
We're no saviors if we can't save our brothers.
Yeah.
I like that one, too.
Real good.
But you should start listening to Suburbia. I've given you all, now I'm nothing, because I will recommend that at one point in time.
Okay.
And cool enough, there's a song called Suburbia. There's a song called I've Given You Everything. And there's a song called And Now I'm Nothing. And that's like the first song, middle song, and last song, I think. Or they kind of fall and equal parts on the album, kind of similar to what John K. Sampson did on Reconstruction Site.
Okay.
So it's kind of a cool little way to buy in the album.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But anyways, great album. Definitely recommend listening to this thing front to back.
Listen to that.
Yeah, it's super solid.
For sure, front to back.
Any other thoughts on this beer?
As it's gotten warmer, it kind of tastes the same.
Yeah, it's really consistent. I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's nice.
You still wish there was more hops?
I
it'd be nice with them, but I think
mean-
it's maybe since they're saying like a good summer
Yeah,
beer,
yeah,
like
yeah.
a good thing to have like in the sun.
I was about to say like that one would probably be like the IPA one would probably be a lot better in the fall.
Yeah, this would be
Or
more
even in the winter.
sessionable in the sun.
But yeah. Now that I'm having this, if it was like really hot out, this would be really tasty to have.
A really big honkin' IPA might not be,
Yeah, it'd be
or a
little bit
coffee
too
porter
heavy.
might be too
A little bit
dark
too heavy.
for the summer. But
Yeah.
this could really work.
Yeah, I think it's good.
We're going to be coming back with a regular formatted episode in which I review
The
the album
Loveless
by
Bullet for My Valentine.
Bullet for My Valentine, not My Bloody Valentine. Two very different bands, so I've learned.
And I will be reviewing Avenged Sevenfold's album City of Evil.
City of Evil.
I've started listening to it and it's I don't know if I can
There are
say
some
anything good about it.
there are some songs on this Loveless album that I'm struggling with, but
Yeah,
we'll get there. We'll get there.
we'll get there. It'll be good.
As always,
Or as the kids say, it'll be Gucci.
Gucci.
I don't know if they actually say that.
They did at one point in time. I don't know if they still do. I'm too out of touch. I just learned what the word clout meant.
Flap?
Clout.
Clout?
Yeah. Like if you have a lot of followers and a lot of influence, you got a lot of clout.
Cult?
Clout. Clout or something like that.
Doesn't clout mean something else?
The Colossus of Clout. Babe Ruth. I don't know what it means.
Oh.
But like
the Great Bambino.
you just follow them for
You
their
don't
clout.
know who the Great Bambino is? The
I
Great
thought it was-
Bambino.
I thought it was a she. Baby Ruth. What a great movie.
Baby Ruth.
Baby Ruth. I gotta rewatch that one.
That's a great movie. Yeah. Sandlot.
Like always, check us out on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can just find us at American Brews and Tunes, or shoot us an email at what is it? AmericanBrewsandTunes@gmail.com.
At gmail.com. If you want to recommend an episode for us to listen to.
Yeah.
For a one-off episode.
Just, if you want an album for us to listen to, just say it.
If there's like an album that's your favorite and you're like, you guys should listen to this album
Or if
because it's
an
my
album you
favorite.
hate.
Yeah, or if it's like, this album's terrible, you guys should listen to it. He.
Yeah, we'll
Then
do
we'll
it.
do that.
Yeah. But anyways, let's finish our beers and sign off, shall we?
Sounds like a plan.
Down the Dunkin hatch. That is a good brew.
That's
like
not
that.
bad. I like it.
Once again, my name is Stephen Johnston,
And my name is Jesse Titus.
and this is American Brews and Tunes.
Wow.
Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes. Shibbity beeby da.